Hi, YouTube. I was in here watching TD Jakes, and he was talking about how God came into a coast and he called out the demons that was in a man, and the demons screamed, "Let us go into the swine. Why have thou come? Have thou come to torture us? Let us go into the swines." And stuff like that. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the situation. And then I had to apply it to myself. So many different things came up, and so many different trials in my life came up to actually show me the situation and how it applied to my life and some of the things that I had been through. Because I remember when I was tormented with these demons, and I remember the separation part. And I remember me saying, I don't want nothing to do with this. See, because nobody can understand when the righteous fall. Do you understand what I'm saying? When that which is righteous fall and it's no longer considered righteous, and it's not because of something that they did, but rather something that's compelled upon them, or something that has set up there and caused them to be unrighteous. Their whole goals and agenda was to be righteous, but they have fell into an unrighteous situation because something that was not even their fault. They're in that situation and they're in a state of confusion. They're in a state of turmoil. They're in a state of trouble, and it ain't even their fault. They are being forced into that situation. They have been plagued with certain demons, devils, and stuff like that. And then you have to understand they're at the point where they already know it's not demons and devils, but rather devices against them that have came up against that which is righteous and said, look, I will take control and possession of this person because they choose to serve God. And now they're at the point where they say to God, they say, well, God, I tell you what, if you allow this to happen to me again, I'm not coming back. Because I cannot afford to keep being hurt under God when I'm trying to live the right life. And nobody understands like how it is when you're trying to live the right life and you're doing everything right and you're not doing anything wrong and you're going up against this. So now you're at the point, but guess what? The only thing that separated you, because everything that was around you didn't have no love for God whatsoever, but the only thing that separated you was God. But you still giving God an ultimatum. You saying, look, if you allow this to happen to me again, because I was righteous before this happened to me. If you allow it to happen to me again, there is no more. I will take on the whole armor of Satan, because there is no way in the world I'm going back through this knowing that I have lived a righteous life, that I have not done anything wrong, that I have sat up here and been solely and sold out for God. It's no way in the world I should have had to go through that. But here God is. He's clearing the affliction. But when you're sitting up there and you're saying, well, God, I'm going with you, God says, no, you have to stay here. And that kind of creates a turmoil for you, because you're like, this is the same place that I got sick at. This is the same place where they were okay with me being naked. This is the same place they were okay with me being abused. This is the same place where they were okay with me being tortured. This is the same place that I have no love for, because everything that I've been through have been nothing but evil. And although God sits up there and kind of say, okay, well, I'm shielding you from all this anger. I'm shielding you from being upset. I'm shielding you from being mad. You can't help but be mad because you're like, I didn't do anything to get in this situation. I didn't do nothing wrong. And see, sometimes the people of God don't understand that, like, you're sold out for God, you're living for God and stuff like that, and you end up falling into this. What is this? Is this a sacrifice? Is this a sacrifice? Have you sacrificed me? I woke up in the morning holy, and by the time I went to bed, I was unclean. And I know it when the pork I ate. And nobody understands. And, I think back to this movie with The Color Purple, and I remember how in this movie, you probably never watched it. In the movie The Color Purple, this woman had been through so much abuse in her life, and she finally made up in her mind. She said, "Look, I'm gone. I'm gone." So she started packing up stuff, little stuff, little trinkets or whatever, just little stuff that meant something to her. And she said, "I'm going." But the moment she got ready to go, she didn't. I guess it wasn't her time yet. And the woman shook Avery, drove off, and she passed out and went unconscious. Because something was holding her. It was her season, it was her time, but something trying to hold her there for whatever reasons. And some of them reasons ain't clean. And then you got to think about this. You got a man of God going through demonic possession. See, because for some weird reason, in order for God to have been able to actually cleanse him from demonic possession, he has to be of God. God ain't just going to be able to cleanse some stuff that's not of him. This man is going through demonic possession. Things are trying to possess him, have ownership, have control. That's how you know slavery wasn't even right. Because God does not function off of possessions. This is not my possession. You are free. If I label you under mine, it's only so that you can be free. That's how God usually functions. But this man, being a part of God, became a possession of the devil. Because Satan ain't going after something that's already tainted, something that he already have. He's going after that which is righteous. So you got to understand, this man is finally cleansed. Probably still ain't even in his right mind, because I can remember me being cleansed and my mind still being messed up. Still trying to resurge or whatever the case may be. You're still going through the attacks of them trying to possess you. But you've been cleansed, but you're still going through the attacks of possession, of control. Someone saying, "I want control." And as you're going through this point, you're like, "Lord Jesus, how did I get here?" I remember the vows I took as a child where I said that I wasn't, but I even remember the sins that was committed. I remember this stuff ain't stuff that I do. I'm starting to remember things that was taken from me. I'm remembering things that I had going for myself, and every time stuff was going good for me, I remember even being blanked out, and that which was good for me being taken from me. Every time things went right and I had it where it needs to be, I remember it being taken. I never had what was really mine. All I can remember is just people taking stuff from me. Even happiness. Every time something goes good, I just remember stuff being taken. And now you're in this state where, okay, God is sitting up there. You have been tortured. It's their turn to get tortured now. Right? That's what you're thinking. But no, 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 it's not yet that time for them. So they asked him, they say, well, can I go into the swines? Yeah, he obliged them, sent them into the swine. But like the righteous, you ain't gonna survive it. So he sent them down into the slopes. Because there's no way in the world you gonna do what you did to my people and think that there's no consequence, and you gonna go off and you gonna trolley off into this land as if it's okay. So he sent them down the slope and to their death. But this is what got me the most. The town people came down. Now you got to understand, when you're dealing with a demonic possession, it's a group in the town and the high ups and people in the city. They're on the same mind track because they're connected into this demonic and satanic type of lifestyle. So when they looked upon the righteous,